Now we review a film about space librarians. A Quiet Place Day 1. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, I am Richard. This is Random Street Theater, and I have seen A Quiet Place Day 1. I have basically hated the Quiet Place movies up until this point because I just find them too unrealistic. So here's A Quiet Place Day 1, which is, of course, the initial attack of the Death Angels in the Quiet Place franchise. This is also directed by Michael Sharonowski, I think it is pronounced, and he also did Pig, which I did not see, but I'm told it was a great movie. And I have to say, out of all the three movies, this is my favorite, because it's the most realistic. I mean, you start off with this terminally ill woman played by Lupita, I don't know how to pronounce it, it's Nyong'o, who was in Us and Black Panther, and, it's like, she is a very quiet, unassuming person with deep emotional scars, and she's the walking dead. She's got terminal cancer. She's not going to live that much longer, so it's her and her cat Frodo, and, the great thing she has left to do in her life is get pizza at the place next to the club her old man used to perform at. And that's all she wants to do in life. That's it. If she does that, she's like, okay, I'm going to die happy. I mean, I'm resolved. I know what's up. And then it's like they convince her to go out into the city and do things. This is New York, of course, and New York is a loud city, so these Death Angel things would be in New York and just be like, I can't. That's what would realistically happen, but presumably if New York got hit by a meteor, it might quiet down a lot. So I guess that's kind of realistic. And so she goes out there, and then the things attack, and the rest of the movie is surviving, which is kind of silly when you have somebody who is already dead. Like some of us, we want every second, and that's what death does to you. But look, my mother died of cancer, and I remember her coming home from the doctor and crying because they said, you have 2 years to live. And this was like the third time they had said that to her, and every time she'd gotten better. So, I mean, she'd gotten to the point where it's like, look, I can't take living like this anymore. And it's a painful way to live. So some of us want every second, and some of us are like, God, just make it stop. So this is a make it stop kind of a person. Her life isn't very good, and she's got nothing to live for. So that's who she is. I will point out here, from a standpoint of just living, Stephen Hawking said, wherever there is life, there is hope. Okay, you ain't dead yet. You don't know what'll happen. So don't give up the will to live. That would be my advice to you. But that's not this movie. Okay? This movie, I really liked the sound design of this film. I didn't really remember a lot of music, but there's a lot of, quiet moments. And one of the things I disliked about the film was you can't really hear anything. So this film would be better as a DVD watch where you can turn up the sound and put the subtitles on and actually hear what's going on, which would be a lot better in my opinion. But that's just me. And not a lot of people go to theaters anyway, so not a lot of business going on there. And the cinematography I also feel was a lot more artistic and a lot more directive. There are better angles. There's better use of light. There are dark, quiet moments in a dark, quiet story about a person who is already dead and deciding what to do with their last moments, rather than a horror movie about monsters. So the creature feature is secondary to this story, and really it's this person who's just broken and deciding how they're going to fall, as opposed to it being this movie about monsters. So that, as an aspect, I actually enjoyed that. I'm not saying that I thought this was a great movie, but if you put a gun to my head and say, which one of these films are you going to watch again, it's A Quiet Place Day 1. Because the other Quiet Place movies were letdowns to me. I mean, it's like, you want me to believe that this is a world where you can't fart or you will die. And I mean, I have known too many men. We fart a lot. People would be dead. Every man on this planet would be dead within a week. Because it's just like, oh, Death Angel. And then there's the assumption that, the United States military doesn't have something that could take down these monsters. It's like, okay, they can't swim. All right. So how about a water cannon? So obviously drowning will kill them. Water cannon? Maybe halon units suck the air out of where they're in, or have them chase a drone into the water. It's one of those things these questions you keep asking yourselves of, okay, so why are these things, how could the military be taken down by this? Now, to be fair, it's entirely possible that the military never got taken down, and we're just dealing with a place where the military hasn't weeded the monsters out yet. But then, why would there be no sign of that? Now, another thing about this movie is there's this awesome dude who played General Crazy Dude in Rebel Moon. Like that guy, the guy with the shaved head and the awesome goatee. Yeah, he's in this movie, and apparently he's in the second Quiet Place movie as well. He's one of the dudes on the island. So it's like, yeah, there's some continuity here. This guy came from New York. I have a hard time believing New Yorkers would go down so easy, but hey, that's in this movie. So yeah, solid film. And you know what? IMDb is currently giving this a 6.8. Rotten Tomatoes gives it an 84%, which is neither here nor there because it's Rotten Tomatoes. But audiences on Rotten Tomatoes are giving it a 73, which means, yes, it is definitely a strong film. And Fandango gives it a 74% approval rating. So, across the board, this film goes high on the watch list. It is a solid film and worth watching. I personally thought it was okay. But you know what? I'm not the world, so I'm going to make that recommendation. Most people like this film. If you like the first two movies, you will like this film. If you think hard, there are problems with it, but audiences aren't thinking anymore. So anyway, that's just my opinion, and I'd love to hear yours down in the comments below. I, of course, am Richard.
Greetings, humans! Your old pal Randall here again, reminding you to comment, like, and subscribe. You see, I got my bracelets from Ferocian, and I got another medal from the Conqueror. Yeah, look at that, see? See? That's got an Easter Island head on it. Because, if you can't afford to go to Easter Island, you can go and walk Easter Island virtually by going to the Conqueror. You could not screw up the environment by traveling to Easter Island. You could just get this, plant 5 trees, and then walk on your own and learn about Easter Island because I send you postcards. And if you comment, like, and subscribe, you can help the guy that owns this channel buy things like this so he can plant trees and buy bracelets like this from Ferocian so he can pull trash out of the ocean and make a better world for you. And it isn't going to cost you anything. So don't you have something to say? I mean, shouldn't you in the comments down below say how grateful you are that this man has planted so many trees and pulled so much trash out of the ocean and did all those good things for you? No? Ungrateful human? I should eat your face!